So one of my favorite things to do is work with the energy of signs. And signs are a really big one for me. Areas, things that my attention is drawn to. Animals are a big one for me. I've talked about this so much more on the show, but learning to work with the energy of signs can be really, really powerful and really, really, really exciting. And so that's what I want to talk about today. And this is a topic that we've covered more than one time on the Intuitive Connection podcast. So make sure after this episode that you go back and search and listen to some of the other episodes as well, because each time we do it a little bit different and there's something new. But today I wanted to share a particular story about a spirit animal that has been speaking to me for the last couple of days, and then particularly today. And that is my friend, the spider. And I've been noticing just a lot of spiders, like everywhere. I was out of town, so maybe they all came out of my house when I was gone. Not scary spiders or anything like that, but a lot of spider energy. And today, as I was, getting ready for my day, I started to ponder. I'm like, I wonder what all that spider energy means. Right. And that's what I do, friends. That's kind of how my process is. If I start to notice anything repeatedly, if something kind of gets my attention, especially if it gets my attention a lot, right? I start to wonder, how is this a reflection out there of something in here, right? That wants to get my attention, right? How is spirit wanting to communicate with me right now? And it always does. And there's always a way. And sometimes there's like these tremendous synchronicities. And that's kind of to me what happened today. So for the last couple of days, spider, spider, spider. And I've also been just receiving a lot of kind of creative downloads and ideas and things like that. So, and waiting to kind of put some time aside to get all that down and start writing and start sharing and doing all the stuff, because I've been running and traveling a lot and I haven't really had that time, and the downloads are just pouring in. So I didn't really relate this to spiders or anything like that, but I was sitting here in my little podcast studio waiting for a guest to arrive who didn't. And so when I was bored, I pulled one of my favorite decks. Whoops, like that. I know it's not backwards. It is backwards. Anyway, Stephen Farmer, because you can't read backwards probably, messages from your animal spirit guide. Stephen Farmer was also a guest on the podcast. It's been a couple years back. Check out that episode. It was amazing. And I've been a big fan of his animal guides. I've had this deck, oh my God, forever. But I was just playing with it. And the card that jumped out on me, of course, was the spider. Right. And that's kind of how it works. So I was noticing the spiders. I was wondering what they mean. And then my good old friend, Stephen, showed up with his sweet little deck, and spider jumped out of the deck, and it's perfect. It's perfect. The message is trust the creative spark you're feeling and express it through writing stories, inspiration, and enlighten. Right. Oh, writing stories that inspire and enlighten. Sorry, I can't read. Right. So it's kind of what I'm doing. It's kind of what I'm here to do. Right. And oftentimes that's exactly how it works and exactly how it flows. I have to stop. Right. We get a sign. It keeps kind of speaking to us. It speaks to us more. We listen. We ask for more clarification. Then boom, a card pops out of the deck and gives us our answer. Right. And that's why I am here sitting in front of the microphone. But I also want to share this like a little bit more generally. It's a great story, and this stuff happens to me all the time, but a little bit more generally because, those of you who are wanting to work with signs, sometimes can feel a little bit derailed, right? There's a couple things that can kind of get in the way with our working with signs. One is the desire to know too hard and too strong and too for sure, right? Look, your intuition is a softer kind of knowing. It's a full body knowing. It's not a figuring out. It's just right? And the moment I pulled this card, I was like, oh yeah, it all fits. It all feels right. There was no kind of seeking or searching or pushing. It was just yeah, it all makes sense. It's all true. So that's the first way to know that it's a sign or it's your intuition, right? Because a lot of times there's a felt sense of rightness when it all clicks. Okay. The second one the guides say is, to release that desire to know in that sort of left brain manner, right? To figure it out, to be sure. It's not a being sure up here, right? It's a being sure here, right? And that's how we know. Two, they say, be open to being wrong, right? You don't always have to get it right. Have a sense of play, have a sense of joy, have a sense of curiosity, right? And oftentimes signs can mean multiple things, right? So it could be multiple things. Everything exists in perfect synchronicity. So the spider may mean creativity to me right now, but there might even be more messages that want to come through from my spider friends. It doesn't matter, right? So it's not so much about being right as feeling into what resonates, what feels good. And if you can't find what resonates now, let it go. The signs will keep coming, right? The signs will keep coming until you feel that aha, that click. Right. The other thing I want to say is I had a guest on the show not so long ago. I think her episode is actually going live very shortly. But in that episode, she made a comment that I loved. She's like, I'm not super woo, or I'm not, like she goes, every bird is not a sign, or every bird is not a spirit. And, I thought that was absolutely adorable, except for me, every freaking bird I see. That to me, birds are my guides. I have especially the raptors. So for me, every bird is most definitely a sign, but really anytime I see something or notice it, particularly animals are just really, big for me. And I just feel a really strong connection with my animal guides. And whenever I see an animal, especially something that, is out of place, or one of my favorite animals, or something that just keeps coming up and my attention's drawn to. The other one has been squirrels. I've been seeing a lot of squirrels. And yesterday I just saw tons of baby squirrels at the beach, and I dreamed of baby squirrels last night. I just realized that too. Lots of big dreams going on for me. Um, but I'll pay attention to that too. Right. So for me, every animal kind of is a sign, and I love that, and I play with it, and I invite it in, and it brings me a lot of joy. Right. But we don't want to do it from a scared place of, is it a sign? What does it mean? Oh my God. Because that doesn't feel good. And nothing in the spirit world is here to, it's, even when it's here to protect us, it's here to remind us that we were safe and secure all along, right? It's not, we don't need to lock into it from that fear-based way of knowing. Okay. And we don't even need to know right away. Again, if it's a sign, you're going to get it again. It's going to keep coming. The universe is going to keep playing with you and keep nudging you. So you don't have to get it all right at once. Just continue to be open, continue to enjoy, continue to explore, and use every opportunity to know that you're guided and you're supported. Now, the other mind trap that we get into with signs is kind of that wishful thinking, right? We want to make everything a sign. All the signs lined up. And that is why I, invested all of my money into that, that weird business that didn't go anywhere or whatever, right? Like, it's sometimes we want it so hard that we do this sort of wishful thinking, and we make everything mean what we want it to mean. Okay. And if that sounds like you, if that's a place that you sometimes go, the trick to that is knowing, number one, again, life is going to continue to show you your best path. And all you can do is just continue to follow it. And two, sometimes you want to ask yourself, is it okay if this is wrong? Right? You want to be okay. You want to just be able to say, like, I don't need to know 100%. Right. And the guys are reminding me, because I don't know if I'm saying this exactly right, that wishful thinking comes from a place of fear. It comes from a place of wanting to know, of wanting to control, of wanting to be right, of wanting, everything to be working in your favor. And so when you're feeling that at your core, it's going to be harder for a sign, right, to really reach you. It's going to be harder to really know how to interpret things. You're going to be, they say, projecting onto reality, right, and onto the world, and trying to force the flow rather than working with the true energy of signs and symbols and spirit and guidance, which is allowing yourself to be in the flow and then be guided from there. Right. And they say even more that there's this space in which We allow ourselves to be wrong. We allow whatever to be, whatever's going to be is. We exist in that space of not knowing, that space of curiosity, that space of non-attachment. And when we can flow from there, that's when our connection with the spirit world and life itself flows the most freely, the most brilliantly, and the most beautifully. And that's ultimately what your intuition is for, right? Your intuition at its best comes from that space. It comes from that space of non attachment. It comes from that space of allowing. It comes from that space of play and joy and curiosity. And again, it was not life or death. Just seeing the spiders, it was simply a nudge for me to tune more into my creativity. And also for me, the guides say, it's just fun. It's just fun. Like they like to play with me and they say, I like to play with myself, right? Through these animal signs because it brings me great comfort and joy from this and many lifetimes. Okay. And it can be that way for you too. So when you're working with signs in the outside world, the first thing to do is to be soft with it, to be soft, have fun, have a playful stance. Like, don't take it too seriously. Two, agree to know what you can know right now, meaning you don't have to figure it all out or have the final thing. Just like, notice what resonates with you now, what feels good. And if you feel like you can't figure it out, let it go. You're going to get more signs. Okay. And the third step in working with science is always go with what resonates, right? Go with that deep feeling in you. Allow the mind to go soft, right? Experience it in your body. And you'll know when you know that you know what lands, right? When I pulled this card, whoops, that one, I was like, yep, that totally fits. That feels right. Aha. Ah. Right. And so when we work with the energy of science and when we work with our intuition, it's really important to know that it's not this kind of knowing, right? It's this kind of knowing. It's knowing with our heart, with our soul from that place of alignment. And when you know, you know. All right. That's all I got for this one today. I can't wait to hear all your sign stories. Post them in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, or shoot me an email if you're hearing it somewhere else, or join us over in the Intuitive Connection community on Facebook. I share it there. Or don't share it at all and just enjoy your own unique and beautiful relationship with the spirit world as is experienced through signs. Love you all. Thank you all for tuning in, and namaste.